All right, let's talk about Carson Wentz. Yes, Carson Wentz is back, and another victory for Carson Wentz. That's fun. Of course, Wentz with one of the more bizarre careers that you can remember, where he obviously had that, really great start with the Eagles, was going to win MVP maybe, and then gets injured. Nick Foles wins the Super Bowl. Wentz plays for a couple more years, but never is quite the same, and sort of slowly declined with them, and then had a hard decline in 2020 when Jalen Hurts took over the starting job. In 2021, it started good, ended bad with the Colts. In 2022, it started bad and ended worse, and that was kind of the last we saw of him as a real starter. He did start Week 18 both for the Rams and the Chiefs as they rested their starters because they were already ready for the playoffs. But now we get to see him in like a game that matters, basically. So, okay, what happened? Well, long preamble over. Let's talk about the film. Starting off with this play, zone coverage concept. You see TJ Hawkinson's going to try and get kind of over the middle. Watch how when this play begins. Actually, that's Josh Oliver, the other tight end, 84. A really well-ran route by Josh Oliver. Get some space. Give him some credit. Bengals don't pick him up here. Big window, and what's Wentz going to do? Well, you see, he makes the layup, right? Nothing too crazy. But again, this is an offense that works pretty well, right? I mean, we've seen it work pretty well with Sam Darnold. Like, it's working, pretty well here. And it was able to, work well in this game against the Bengals, sure, but still, it was effective. Now, heading over here, we definitely saw some plays where I'm like, yep, this is still Carson Wentz. So this is a 1st and 10. Wentz is going to take the snap, and look at how long he holds on to this football. I mean, I'll pause it right here. We are, closer to 4 seconds than 3 seconds at this point into the play, and he is still just fully looking down the field. Not just that, but watch him like pump fake right before he gets hit. Not even really protecting the football. It's Carson Wentz, right? I mean, this is part of why he's not a starter anymore. It's because of these types of issues. And while they didn't have a huge impact in this game, we did see it. And I would say it's something he's got to clean up. He's not going to clean it up. We know who Carson Wentz is at this point. You just hope it doesn't come back to hurt you. Although heading over here, so this is a 3rd down and 2. Game's blowout now, but we saw it work out, which is what happened that MVP year with the Eagles, right? Is all him holding onto the ball for forever kind of just worked out. Watch as this was supposed to be a blitz by the Bengals, but they screwed it up, and 2 of their linebackers are covering the running back in the flat. That's not good. But for Wentz, I'm sure he read it as a blitz. He's still just holding on to the ball. He's still waiting for things to develop, and ultimately it does, and he gets a 1st down. That's Philadelphia Eagles Carson Wentz. And one thing I thought of is, Wentz, his biggest issue is he holds onto the ball for too long. Well, the Eagles, when they were great, had a great offensive line. They had good offensive lines pretty much all of, for a lot of Wentz's career, not all of it, but for a lot of it. But definitely it was great in 2017. And the Vikings, on paper, once you get Darisaw back, could have a really good offensive line, right? Could pass protect, and that could help. I don't know, just a thought I had. It's, his biggest weakness is holding on to the ball for too long. That was Sam Darnold's biggest weakness, and it wasn't as big of a deal because they pass protect and scheme plays to get rid of the ball quickly. Maybe you could see stuff like that happen with Wentz as well, at least to maybe not to the same degree, but at least to some degree. Also, this play was really fun by Wentz. I don't know if this was intentional or not, but let's say it was because that's more fun. It's a zone coverage concept. You have a player who's going to be going over the middle. This time it is Hawkinson, 87. Got it right this time. Watch what happens. Wentz takes the snap, and watch how Wentz is, you see, he's kind of pump faking as though it's going towards more the right side of the screen. I don't know if this is intentional or if he just was actually considering throwing it now and is now going to wait a little bit, but watch what happens. Watch the Bengals player who was in zone there is drawn further in on the pump fake, and Wentz kind of throws it past him and picks up the 1st down. Hey, those timing plays, he did a good job of in this game. That one was very good. You have one over here where this is going to be a 3rd down and 6, and still a game at this point, 14-0. Okay, it's a game you're feeling pretty good about yourself with, but it's still, it's not like it was, 40 to 17 or whatever it was later on in the game. Here you have a receiver going over the middle. Actually, kind of more of a slant route here, but what's going to happen is, really what you want to do is time this one when the receiver is going to be in a gap in coverage. Watch. Wentz takes the snap, and look at how well timed this is. Beautifully, when that gap was there, Wentz is able to make the throw, and it's Justin Jefferson now who has the ball. You get the ball in Justin Jefferson's hands in the second level, good things can happen. So, very good stuff there. This play as well, which is a slightly different play. It's instead of going more over the middle, you're going towards the side, but it's still the same thing. It's Hawkinson trying to find a gap in coverage. This is a play that can work, as designed. And watch how Wentz takes a snap. Again, just well-timed. There's some pressure, but he doesn't let it affect him. And he does do a good job at that, of not letting the pressure affect his timing. He was always good at that, even with the Colts. He wasn't good at anything with the Commanders, but he was good at that with the Colts and is able to show it there. Although there was one real negative, and it wasn't the biggest deal in the world. Again, this is kind of a weird game to evaluate anybody just because of it got so out of hand. I mean, I can evaluate Jake Browning maybe, but for Wentz, it got so out of hand. It's just a weird game. But probably the biggest negative is this one. Zone coverage, zone blitz. Actually, you have a receiver who's going more over the middle, trying to get into a gap in coverage. It's Josh Naylor, who has very good speed, and sometimes it just takes some time to get on the same page with someone like this. Where watch how Wentz takes the snap. You see there is a window open over the middle. There's a window. I mean, this is a touchdown waiting to happen, right? But you got to get this well timed. It's not the accuracy as much. It's more just knowing when to make this throw. Wentz is just a tick late on this. Watch how it gets batted up. Could have been intercepted. Wasn't. Again, that's the one negative, right? Not a huge deal. Doesn't negate the good stuff he did in this game, but you do wonder when you play against better defenses, could you start to see more issues like that emerge where you again, the issues that I see on tape of, this one not perfectly timed throw, maybe it was just because he's playing with a receiver he's not used to, but maybe not. But ultimately, while these issues did not affect them in this game, and he was able to run the offense and have success, I guess the question that we have to ask at the end is, well, how well can this, how good can he play moving forward? Well, you see the next handful of weeks they're going to, to go into Dublin, actually, to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. That should be an interesting game. Then the Browns, the Eagles, the Chargers, and I don't think he's going to play all 6 of these games. I think McCarthy will probably, unless he plays so well that they make him the starter, I think that they will go to McCarthy at a certain point. But, I mean, again, Steelers have had a weird season. Browns have a very good defense. We saw what they did to Jordan Love. Eagles are obviously the Eagles. Chargers are the Chargers. So, a good game to get your feet wet. Definitely going to have to hope that, we can keep the windows this open for him the next few games. But again, doesn't have to be perfect. I think he'll be able to at least keep the team afloat, while McCarthy is out, which is what you want. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.